creo que puedo seguir yendo a la selección porque de verdad.
I think I can stay with the national team because there are a lot of people in Spain that are completely against what has happened in Catalonia. I can also say that if a coach or any official of the Spanish Federation thinks I am disruptive, I don't have a problem to step down and leave Spain's national team before 2018.
No tengo ningún problema en dar un paso al lado.
And you're back with us on Sons of Nature. Once again, you're joining me, Yuhan, in the studio with Henry and CK, but Izam is not in because unfortunately he is camping back at home in Ampang doing some work for Selangor Champions League.
It's okay.
Which we'll talk about later. This week we have some action to bring to you from the Premier League, Serie A, the League One, Bundesliga, basically everything, and Selangor Champions League as well towards the end. So let's not waste any more time, cut straight to the chase and move on to what's in the top set.
Atalanta versus Juventus.
Yes, Serie A, Atalanta versus Juventus.
Thanks.
2-2 draw. I'm assuming that you guys did your homework too.
Yes, I did.
And what are your thoughts?
Unfortunate about Juventus.
Yeah, I think this game and the next game we're going to talk about is almost similar in nature, except for the fact that Juve did go 2-0 up first.
But they wasted it.
Yes, they wasted it because they didn't finish their chance. That's basically it. They didn't finish the chances.
Now, interesting fact about Atalanta, they're actually playing alongside Everton in the Europa League, and they're actually on top of the group right now. They actually finished 4th last season, so I would say this is like in a sense, like back 3 years back there, like if you had a fixture of Chelsea versus Spurs or United versus Spurs, this is kind of like that fixture to me. So it's really just seeing whether or not Atalanta could challenge Juventus and really give them a run for their money, and they did, and I think they did.
Credit to Atalanta because you have mentioned the rundown as well that the goal came from nowhere. I think the defenders were not expecting the goal to come in, especially the last goal.
Quite proud though from Juventus, don't you agree?
I don't know how to feel like. I feel like because Max Allegri has holding on this team and this same system for the past 4 years, people are calling it out already, and with the absence of Pogba, and then you bring in Dybala and
Bernardo
played for the first time, and he was good, undeniably well done because he did contribute to both the goals. He scored one and assisted one. But in this case, it's really the case of teams just knowing how Juve works now, and it's even worse now that Bonucci is not even there anymore.
So would you agree that Atalanta? I don't know. My perception of Italian teams right now is that they have really poor defense. You could have Lazio's trashing the team right now, and the next week they're probably going to be trashed after that. So to me, this is the first time I've seen an Italian club so far this season play with at least some attempt at disciplined defense.
And that was Atalanta we're talking about, right?
Yeah, Atalanta. Because they actually track players. There was player number 37, Leonardo Spinazzola, who's a loan from Juventus. He did a horrible job at tracking people, but at least he tried. So credit to him. And I think their goals were great though.
Yeah, it was super right? It's really good goals.
Especially the equalizer. It came out.
It's a very powerful header.
Yeah, it's a powerful header. And of course, this is very dramatic as well. Dybala didn't score.
But the cross that came in though from Gomez.
Yeah, the cross that came in.
What a good cross.
Yeah. Do you think it was just a momentary lapse of concentration from Juventus, or do you think it's a case of Juventus not capitalizing on their chances well? If you look at the scoreline, it doesn't justify the amount of chances they have.
I would say that the goal came out of nowhere. There was nothing that Juve could have done. To me, credit to Atalanta for finding space and optimizing the chances that they have. Basically, in that one, I don't think it was anything to do with Juve's luck. I think it was very, very poor of Juve to not be able to mark their players properly. That was the case. Like that one moment where they didn't mark players. It wasn't a lap.
But yeah, again, it's a very even game. So I mean, like games can be changed very easily.
It could have been. It was 3-1 at first, but then there was a foul and the referee disallowed the goal, so there was some controversy there.
Yeah.
But still, given the circumstance, they actually caught back up. So good job to Atalanta.
And also there was a penalty that was saved. I don't know, it's a very questionable call even after the VAR, which I did not realize the Italian League had. To me, I don't think it was a penalty, but
nevertheless, Dybala didn't score.
Yeah, it was more like a karma thing, so fuck that.
Yeah. Moving on to our next top set, we have to talk about AC Milan again.
How many losses have they made?
They slumped to a defeat to AS Roma at home at the San Siro Stadium. Things not looking good for Milan, but yet again, Montella played a different set of players. This time he benched Suso.
Yeah,
and instead he put on one of Andre Silva as well. So your thoughts?
This game was more of Roma punishing Milan for missing their chances.
I mean, the first half itself, both the teams wasn't coming as well. It was just like Ma had the chance in front of the goal, then they claimed the chance.
To me, the game is a clear display of why these two teams cannot surpass Juventus over the past few seasons. Because if you look at how Juventus scored their goals against Atalanta, they were all close range attacks. So it shows how flexible they are, long range attack and short range attack. But for Roma and Milan,
there is no one.
A lot of the goal attempts came from
Outside.
finishing off a cross from outside the box. A lot of long range shots. And yes, when you have Dzeko there, it's an advantage for your team because he's specialized in that. But
Agreed.
what happens 4 or 5 years on when he retires?
Because your youth system doesn't know how to play this style of play.
Exactly. And I don't know why Milan, despite playing with so much attackers up front, there is no creativity at all.
I think it's the case of I don't know. This few weeks the trend was always about Suso and Kanic working together, and you take away again Montella experimenting his squad with this system, right? That Montella is doing right now. You're not giving Milan the Milan players enough time to gel together, which is the reason why Montella should stop experimenting, because that is what's happening to the squad. Because of his experimentation, the squad is breaking apart.
So what do you do when you are a manager in a team? You buy in this bulk of players. You don't know who will perform and who will not, and you just simply don't have enough game time to testify who is up to par and who is not up to par. The challenge is there, right? Like, what do they do?
In this kind of case, you want.
I mean, it's damn fair. I mean, exactly what Johan said, right? That's why he's doing a rotation system as well, is to find out.
But to what extent can you play around with this rotation system until you realize I found the match?
It's still early of the league, still Henry. So give him some time.
Is it fair to say that if there is a case where a club buys in a lot of players, that club will definitely be need to give it a season or two before they figure out what works out best for them?
That was City when Mark Hughes was in charge, when they got Arab money. When they came in, they suddenly bought in like a surge of players, Tevez and all the star players came in. And the first season expected them to be somewhere big, but no, they were like 4th or 5th, which was fair because you don't expect them to be able to click together in just a few games.
Now, fun fact, actually goal shots by both teams were considerably even. AC Milan had 11 and Roma had 12, but AC Milan only had 3 shots on target. So and it shows a lot. Like, you have so much strikers up front, but no one is clinical enough.
I was about to raise the point. You've got Suso, you've got Çalhanoğlu, you've got Kalinic, you've got Borini of all people who playing so poor today. Kessie, and you've got Villar. You literally can make a 6-man attack, and yet you can't do it.
And yet there was no team there. There's no harmony at all.
Yeah, it's painful to see after like a hopeful first few games. But I think the slump now, to kind of sum up what's going on right now, the slump right now would be better than having a slump at the end of the season.
Moving on to our next talk set, let's move on to the La Liga, where we pay attention for once, not Barca or Real Madrid.
Barca had no match this week.
No, they played behind closed doors.
I know that, I just want to fuck around. They played so weakly, even though they won.
It's a politically sensitive issue.
I'm sorry, okay, we'll talk about that later.
We're not going to talk about that.
Yeah, I did it in the rundown.
Real Sociedad versus Real Betis, a 4-4 draw, goals galore.
That was all I got from the fuck.
1 point each.
This
what do I need to care? No, not this game.
This game pointed out the flaws of both teams with the amount of goals they conceded.
Really bad.
Very bad. I think all the goals were all fucking cheap shots. It's basically like the game that we're going to talk about in the front.
If you ever try to search up the highlights of this game, it's a fucking boring.
Yeah, it was a very poor game. It was a very poor game.
Both sides.
Yes.
Like I think it was like watching MSSN players play against MSSN players.
I think the Major League Soccer will have more entertainment than this game.
Yeah, I think Selangor Champions League is better.
Yeah. No, I have to agree with that. Actually, I really have to agree with that.
Now for the sake of context, Sociedad is actually playing in the Europa League as well this season. I think they are second in their group so far, and they finished 6th last season. But if you look at their statistics, Sociedad scored 59 goals in total, but they conceded 56. That's a goal.
Like that was last season.
Yeah, okay, and now let's take a look at Betis. Betis finished 15, okay, and they actually conceded 64 goals in La Liga. So they survived, but their goal difference was negative. So it really shows how bad both teams' defense are.
Well, to be fair with you, the league is based on Barcelona and Real Madrid scoring goals. That's it. Who the fuck cares about the lower league teams conceding goals?
I just want to point out one problem. Okay, the communication between the keeper and the players
for both teams
defending a set piece
for both teams
is horrendous. You pay attention to Sociedad's second goal. If I'm not mistaken, it was William Jose, Sociedad striker. He saw the goal coming. The keeper was supposed to clear it up, but he went for the ball anyway, and then both went to mix up, and then the goal was considered just like that. I mean, it seems
stop it!
It seems like there is no trust between the players and the keeper as to who should clear the ball.
Do you agree?
I'm not saying I disagree. We don't have it in talk set.
Sorry, I'm adding in there.
Yeah, I know we don't have it in a talk set, but is this what happens when Liverpool play?
We have no action, okay, so far. Draw.
I'm so fucking glad that international break is here because it's been so painful to watch whatever is going on in the Premier League.
Otherwise, the match is just down to the acres of space that both teams are leaving out for each other to exploit. That's why it was so boring because it was so easy to see the ball.
Yeah, it's basically like a training match. Yeah, it's like you think like a training match. Oh, okay, you got the ball. Okay, give you a bit space.
I'm gonna pass it now. Oh shit, I let go. Oh, I shit and neglect.
Okay, we go back again.
Okay, let's go back again.
Oh, we actually scored. Yay. Okay, come again.
Fucking stupid. Special shout out to Adnan Januzaj, who has only made 3 appearances for Sociedad so far.
Who?
He's recovering from a severe knee injury which he picked up from
trauma inflicted.
Get well soon, boy.
Did you hear what?
Yeah, he did. He just want to ignore it.
I never laughed at you when Mane.
Because Mane is still.
Mane is still with us.
He gave Mane time.
Mane, you.
But you know, Van Gaal, the only thing he did was fall in front of the fourth official. Okay, anyways, I'll take over from this side. Now, if there was anything to be dramatic this week for the La Liga, it would be the potential exit of Barcelona due to their political unrest. Now, for all you guys who don't know, Barcelona is part of Catalonia, and Catalonia is actually trying to gain independence from Spain. And a referendum was brought out, and it turns out that there is a potential that if the Spanish government does accept the referendum, which is very high unlikely, Barcelona and Espanyol will be few of the clubs that are leaving the La Liga. Now, we made the effort this time to actually complete a poll and read it properly and get it done. So we asked you guys on Twitter, where would you like to see Barcelona play if they were to exit Spain? We have over 800 votes on our Twitter page. Thank you so much for the retweets. Thank you so much for the shares and likes and the banter. Now, here are the results. Now, 50% was for the Premier League, 26% for Liga Super Malaysia, and the final 2 are from League One with 18% and Serie A at 6%. So, guys, your thoughts? Do you want to see Barca in the Premier League or not?
Moving on to OGC Nice.
Wow! Answer the fucking question the fans want to listen.
It's no-brainer. That doesn't make
because
sense.
United will have a challenge for once. Whoa!
That will be the same for Liverpool, right? But they are Spanish.
Hey man, Spain is just a 3-hour flight away.
They can only play Champions League.
Oh yeah, sure. I mean, Japan is also only a 4-hour flight away. Let's integrate Japan into Malaysia lah. Why not?
Singapore is doing that with Avirak in Qatar. What's our excuse?
Oh, okay.
Fuck you lah! I will come back to that. Anyways, we can move on from that. You can leave.
So you're telling me Kashiwa Antlers are gonna go against Home United FC?
Avirak in Qatar is already going against Home United FC. What are you talking about? Yeah, you didn't do your homework on the Singapore League, didn't you?
It doesn't make sense. It's like when FAM tried to bring in Lions.
No, I'm not kidding.
No, it's a horrible deal.
I know. Hey man, we are the Malaysian League, not the Singaporean League.
Yeah, I know, and we are doing a worse job.
Are you
asking
sure?
them to come to?
Are you sure? Avirak in Qatar won last season. They want to win this season again.
This is like coming out of a poll, and you know what? I don't want to waste time on it. OGC Nice versus Marseille 2-4.
Unfortunate.
Because it started off brilliant.
Yeah, exactly. It started off with 2 goals.
And 2 very good goals too.
Yeah,
2 very good goals.
Exactly.
Balotelli scored a screamer. It wasn't a screamer, but it was a very good goal.
You hear the girl scream.
No, like,
There was a lot of fans screaming. Sorry.
No, it was a free header.
It was a free header. I think what Marseille did was improve on the second half. And what Nice did was
which is very surprising.
Yeah, I mean, like, you expect them to stop playing already right after the second goal went in, and you expect Nice to at least capitalize on that.
No, fuckers.
But honestly speaking, I think this props to Marseille for coming back from a 2-goal deficit. But it's also like you have to look at Nice and you say shame on you.
Nice to me is like the French Liverpool.
We came back from the back, not from the...
Yeah, I know. I mean, you're scoring goals up front, but you're leaking at back. That's what I'm trying to say.
Oh, okay.
In that sense.
At least we go. Did we lose before?
Yeah, we did.
Oh, wait, score first.
Last season.
Last season, that's last season.
Oh, this season. We concede first, then we score.
We didn't score against City.
Yeah.
That's the point I'm making here.
It's the worst thing.
No. Scoring, then we lose. It's the worst thing.
provide some context here, Nice was one of the teams that we mentioned earlier on during the beginning of this season because they trashed Monaco 4-1.
Yeah.
But here you can see clearly why they're still in 10th spot despite that outstanding performance, because you look at the defense, there is a problem.
I think the keeper also has a part to play in this because the third goal was so unnecessary. He should have pushed it harder away to the back.
Yeah, I know, but these kind of things is surprising to me how they actually happen. I'm not used to constantly seeing this week in, week out. That's how I feel about it. And I gotta give props to Marseille because I expect them to be like 12, 13 plays, but
they're doing actually well.
Yeah, they're actually doing okay.
I think it's more of a Marseille reviewing story because at first they did lose a lot of players due to retirements and also they sold their star players. But now they've acquired a lot of players. You've got Adil Rami, you've got
Luis Gustavo.
I
was surprised to see Luis Gustavo then. I was even surprised to see Dante.
Exactly, I was watching the highlights.
He's the captain.
What the fuck Dante doing there?
There was one goal where I think the mistake was on Dante for not being aggressive. I mean,
the second goal.
You came from Bayern. I would expect you to play more aggressive, but he was so soft on it.
But to be fair, he was only in Bayern for 2 seasons and then he left already. He went to Wolfsburg after that. Went to Wolfsburg, played a season.
Yeah, but he played some important fixtures like the one against Chelsea, although they lost.
Yeah. He did.
But yeah, I mean, it's very obvious what they totally dominated the game. 63% possession. LGC, they had more goal shots, they had more on target, but I kind of feel like they were unlucky also. But something has to change with the defense.
I think that's the case for every single team in the league. With this scoreline, you look at the scoreline, you already know that there is a problem with both sides' defense.
Moving on to our next talk set, let's move on to Germany. Hertha Berlin versus Bayern Munich, a 2-2 draw. And last week, while we were recording, there were rumors coming out talking about how Ancelotti would be sacked. Now it's confirmed that he will be sacked.
Yeah, and as soon as we finish the podcast.
Yeah, and Mr. Jupp, I would like to call him Jupp.
Is
Jupp is confirmed to be coming back to take over Bayern Munich until the end of the season.
Why?
But you can clearly see. Okay, we've tried to answer the question of whether or not it was right to sack Ancelotti. But let's talk about whether or not this team itself has a problem.
TK, you know the problem.
Did I mention it last time?
I think a lot. I think.
I can't remember what point they have made.
All of us resonated with this same.
It's not. I think it's not just about the failure to replace old players. Philipp Lahm and Xabi Alonso's retirement left huge vacancies left.
You got Tolisso, you got
you had Tolisso coming in, Renato Sanchez was coming into and expected to fill in the gap.
But he left to Swansea.
Kimmich, the multi-functional player. Yeah, all these players. I mean, some went through the transitional period between Ancelotti and Pep.
They were lucky. They were lucky.
Yeah, okay.
They were very lucky.
But I don't think Ancelotti did enough to sort of gel these players together and make them flourish.
I think the mistake that Ancelotti did was not playing the youngsters more so that they can.
That was the blame on his part. But what about the player themselves? It doesn't make sense to me that you were once a revered and feared force in work. For this to be happening out of a sudden, it's a bit disorienting. I kind of find it hard to accept.
Sounds like Liverpool.
I think Liverpool
It's forced last time.
This was because Liverpool's current problem was not sudden. It was building in.
It was more like it was a
and I kind of feel like Bayern right now is experiencing what Liverpool experienced at the start when Benitez left. This is the current Bayern.
It's the reason. I think the reason why is right now they have a lot to think about. They have to think about successors for Ian Robben. I think about successors for Max Hummels.
And Lewandowski as well.
Lewandowski is not going to get any younger as well. Manuel Neuer when he leaves, but Sven Ulreich.
Manuel Neuer is young.
No, I mean like for this one touch wood, if he keeps on getting injured again, right, then his career is going to be cut short definitely. So basically, panic mode is on for Bayern Munich to look for successors for the squad, which is already aging.
But do you think the players themselves have the responsibility of making sure there is that coherence in the game? Because you look at these are players who have played together for quite some time, but in this game, they were playing without any direction. There was no tactical identity. There used to be this high pressing game that they played by the wing. They pressed teams a lot, but this was missing, and that's how they threw away their 2-0 lead.
I think particularly they were lost. Like
they were lost. There was no commander.
They were very lost.
They had no idea, no clue what to do on the pitch.
It's just to me, Rummenigge did a very bad move. I mean, I think the sacking was a long time coming. I think it wasn't a long time coming. It's more like I kind of knew it was coming, but I just didn't know when it was going to come. Because life as a Bayern manager is not very long. You probably have 2 good seasons, at most 3, and then you either leave or you get fired next season.
Jupp has a lot of things to do right now. He needs to be involved in setting up Bayern for life without Ribéry, Robben and whatnot.
But I think Jupp is the right man for the job, but I wouldn't want him to be an interim manager. I would prefer him to be a permanent manager because he has brought Bayern to glory before. He was the one that brought in like 2011.
But do you think what Bayern needs right now is the old way of...
No.
Which is what Jupp is bringing
But
back.
Jupp, it represents that kind of play itself because he's being brought back from retirement. He is going to bring back the style that he's familiar with.
I think it's fair. If you've worked with this kind of tactic, it was successful back then, there's no harm trying it again. And the only thing you can do is assimilate what you have at hand.
Would you get another KW?
They would aim for Jurgen Klopp coming in actually.
Wow.
That's
Klopp going to... Wow, that would really stir up.
I don't know whether Klopp will stay true to how he is, but I don't think he will go to Bavaria. I don't think he will go to Bavaria. But for all we know.
That's what they discussed last week, right?
Yeah.
To quote CK, maybe Klopp was just a door to better things.
I'm not saying anything. I have no comments on that. But in terms of the game, tactically lost, I think it's just Jupp Heynckes' job to look for all we know, academy players to play. Look at Dortmund. Dortmund is doing well with their new system. They're integrating the new system pretty well. And there's no harm in replicating that for Bayern Munich right now. Because right now, we have no successor. You have to look for it anyway. And the only way to look for it is not just to see them play their games.
You can say, depends on, or you want to risk it with some young manager to come in to handle Bavaria as well. So I think they went for something more comfortable at the moment than
something
towards
familiar with.
Yeah.
So it's a more safe road to travel.
Yeah, probably towards the end of the season they will look for a better manager to take over.
To potentially Jurgen Klopp or even the
Andrea Biel was.
They were actually talking about getting Van Gaal back.
Or even the Hoffenheim.
That would be interesting.
Even the Hoffenheim manager for all we know, or Hasenhüttl for Red Bull.
Alright, on that note, let's move on to the Premier League. Everton versus Burnley. Your Merseyside neighbours. Do you enjoy seeing them suffer right now?
I think
We drew with Burnley, that's all we can say.
At least you didn't lose.
Yeah.
Merseyside stays great.
You have dropped so low.
What?
But that's the only victory we can take out from.
That's true.
Okay, let's talk about Everton here. We didn't really pay attention to them.
They were shit.
Who wrote the first line there?
We occasionally shat on them about having difficulties gelling their players together. But right now, Coleman's job is on the line. I foresee him being sacked
After international break. After international break. He was shit. That was shit. Everyone was shit.
Like, come on, you gotta elaborate, right?
Now, this game is like the AC Milan game where you don't see any cohesion.
Right.
And Coleman is still experimenting.
No shots, all headers.
Yeah.
All headers.
I don't understand why Sigurdsson is playing at the wing or like he's going towards the wing side instead of
He always plays as a
central.
wing and so.
No, Sigurdsson is a centre midfield.
Attacking.
Sigurdsson is a centre midfield in Swansea. So I don't understand why the fuck is Coleman playing him in the wing.
And I don't understand why Coleman is playing a 4-4-2 either.
Yeah,
I have never seen Everton play 4-4-2 before. It's usually
always one man striker in front.
Yeah, it's always a 4-2-3-1 or 4-3-3.
I think Koeman has no confidence with Oman Yas. And I think they got Alessandro for a reason as well. So replace Lukaku, right?
He only played 3 games so far for them.
I don't understand. Which is confusing as well. If you want to buy someone who is replacing your star player, why the fuck do you not play him?
Who was Everton's star player again?
Lukaku.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
No, I was going to bring that point up also. I mean, Lukaku's absence is greatly felt on the pitch. You can see that very clearly. They don't have that. They don't have that clinical finish anymore. I feel the problem with a 4-4-2 system is that if you want to play a 4-4-2, back then why was it that United thrived under Ferguson with a 4-4-2? Because we had players like score. We had Fletcher at his prime. So these two players are CMs in nature. They know
because they're in the right position.
Yeah, and they can visualize where they need to put the ball in order for the striker to score. Schneiderlin is not that kind of player. Idris Guy is not that kind of player. He does not play as a CM. If you want to play 4-4-2,
this guy is a striker or winger at
if
best.
you want to play a 4-4-2, you need to make sure that you have good CF. But right now, there are no good CFs.
No, they are good CMs.
They're playing out of position. And that seems to be Everton's problem all the time. Players are always playing out of position.
I forgot about Ross Barkley.
Exactly, which is why I feel like he needs to switch back to 4-2-3-1 because with 4-2-3-1, Schneiderlin can play in a deeper role.
Yeah.
Barkley can play along. And then up front you can put Sigurdsson who's more aggressive.
Correct.
Or even Rooney for that fact and come in as a substitution.
Yeah, as a centre forward or attacking midfield.
And then on the wing you have an abundance of Tom Davies, Calvert-Lewin, and then front striker just puts Sandro. How is it difficult to understand?
Ask Coleman. I cannot answer that.
But to be honest with you, right, Burnley, the lead up to the goal was super. There was an exhibition passing. I don't know where the fuck that came from, but that was super. I think that was
straight came out of FIFA.
Yeah, it was just pass.
And I'm not sure why Coleman didn't do anything like in the dugout. Why wasn't there any instructions to encourage the players to not go for crosses? It doesn't work against Burnley. Liverpool has played against Burnley. It doesn't work. Burnley is a very solid compact side. You don't score against them by putting in crosses.
You have to
do a lot of 1-2 passes to fool them. That's how you win against Burnley.
Because they're not fast.
Right, and Everton used to be a fast side.
Yeah.
What happened to them?
They lost a lot of players. Or rather, Koeman doesn't want to use them properly.
Let me simplify it. They lost.
No. Let me simplify for you even more. They were shit.
Moving on to our next game, Chelsea versus Manchester City. Chelsea losing to Manchester City.
Koeman pula. Kevin De Brune must be saying how you like me now. Chelsea.
How you like me now?
Fuck, it's damn good, this goal.
What a goal. Hats off to Kevin De Brune. Seriously.
But Chelsea really came into the match under pressure. They really wanted to win the match against City. They were fighting for on top of it, right? So Pep really studied Chelsea. Really, I think Pep is doing his homework nowadays against Liverpool. That's one against.
Can't wait. That's why I can't wait for the Manchester Derby. I just want to see how Pep
both
plays.
teams better out. Right?
How Pep plays around with Mourinho's tactics.
I think this Manchester Derby, if United lose, I'll hands down say okay, they were a better side because City is really different. You see them, they are really different from last season.
Pacey but clinical. Like they
will move forward with a purpose.
Yes,
they
move forward with a purpose.
Pep was studying for A-levels last season, and now he's going
for degree, right?
Yeah, he's going for a degree in the UK.
So what I'm saying is Conte constantly using the same tactic with a 3-man defense at the back with wing back, right?
They play the 3-5-2 now.
Very audacious of them.
We constantly say this. I think I constantly say this that you cannot play the same 3-man defense all the time. David Luiz wasn't in the 3-man defense. It was with Rudiger and also Christensen.
Who played very well in the.
They played well throughout the whole match. Just like they were all over the place.
They were called out basically. Pep again, like you said, managers do their homework. Pep exactly did their homework. He knew how to pick the 3-man defense apart. That's what they did. Although there were a lot of chances missed by City at the start, but you could see that the goal was coming really, especially at the second half. When Sterling crossed in, flashing across to Silva, basically there were 2 strikers free in the attack.
So okay, if I may ask you this question, what did Conte have to do to win? To at least equalize?
Switch it up.
No, switch out the whole 5-man midfield. If you see the lineup Hazard was playing up front with Morata. Kante.
You can't. The manager can't play himself.
Kante.
He used to be good.
Bakayoko, Fabregas, wing backs Alonso and
Aspilicueta.
Yeah, these are not they pass the ball really well, they assist really well, but they are not those kind of players that score like Hazard. You have players like Willian and Pedro inside the start. Why don't you play them? Why you play the others?
Why do you want
to? Probably because of age. He sees him more as a utility substitute player.
To back up on CK's point, this game should have been a game where it should have been like for like.
Yeah.
Means they should have matched them with pace, because that's what City is banking on right now. But all their teams are in every department, including defense, has pace.
With putting Sterling and Sané into it, it just drags out the play because they are 2 very fast players.
They break apart the defense, and then they give space for the strikers to enter. And you've got the midfielders as well, who could do very big damage in the midfield.
What was very confusing was because Chelsea was using 5-man midfield, right? And the possession was leaded by Chelsea. Leaded by City instead. Possession wasn't in Chelsea's favour. With a 5-man midfield, something is wrong there.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Someone is not doing something right. Like someone's not passing it properly. I think towards the start of the second half, there were a lot of misplaced passes by Chelsea, particularly in the midfield, which led to a lot of chances being missed by City, but eventually it was scored up.
So what I foresee for the next 3 matches, because Morata is also out for 6 weeks. So
Batman.
Basically,
can really
Batshuayi
step up to the plate for the next 3 matches, or Chelsea is going to hit the slump?
I think Chelsea's going to go through a slump. For me, my gut feeling is telling me they don't have Morata, they can't do anything. Because Batshuayi didn't start in the Atletico game, he was on the bench.
Yeah. Just came in and zap guy.
Yeah. So how is he going to pick up 90 minutes when his job at the start was to score the crucial goals, not the one that starts it all?
Do you think he needs to move on to a middle table club? Maybe that suits him.
Who?
Batshuayi.
I think he needs to be played more
kind of like Origi, if you ask me.
Sorry?
Kind of like Origi.
Yeah. I think he needs to be played out on loan more, get experience, learn how to fucking finish. Batshuayi can finish, but he's a bit arrogant, which is why I think Conte is also putting him down, which is why he's losing his chances.
It's like you are not really that good, but you want to act like you're that good.
Yeah, exactly. That's what Origi was basically.
But we didn't give enough credit for Pep. He hands down with big matches these days, really
very convincing.
Well. Yeah.
Very convincing.
Even though it's a 1-0 win, it technically tore apart Chelsea basically.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on to our final talks at Selangor Champions League.
Fuck Henry. Are you going to do that every week now?
I guess there's only really one match day that we can talk about for this week lah.
Shah Alam Antlers
Tuesday, which was the Shah Alam Derby, and of course AZX FC versus
Level Up.
Yes, correct. I want to first talk about the AZX game. Some context: they have been searching for their first win. They were tracked by Southern FC from Klang 6-1 in the opening fixture.
That's what I was thinking. What is that?
Yeah, and they actually really beat up Level Up. I think what Level Up didn't do well enough was they were not more decisive in terms of passing and finishing. So Tariq, if you remember Tariq, the guy who scored an amazing goal in the opening fixture, he had 3 goal shots shot to the moon. Basically, he was Sergio Ramos 3 times. And also another factor I feel is Prashant, the number 7 for Level Up FC. He was marked down a lot because
he missed the penalty as well.
Yeah, and AZX FC did really well in marking him down. That really destroyed his confidence on the pitch. And from that moment on, you could really see the only person up front trying to actually do something and score goals was Tariq. Everyone else was kind of like, they were not in the mood anymore.
Because they kind of let him go very quickly, right?
And Level Up FC players are quite huge. They're quite tall, they're quite big. And against a team like AZX where the players are relatively, their physique is much smaller and more agile, they were really trashed by AZX in terms of speed and pace. So you gotta give credit to the number 7 from AZX, who did a lot of good passes. He had total control of midfield and he was terror in that game. Okay. Now moving on to the Shah Alam Derby, me and Henry actually got the chance to watch this game. The build up to this game was massive because it's a derby, the way it was all hyped up.
The first derby.
Yeah.
The first derby.
But I don't know, I think the both of us kind of feel like the first half didn't really meet our expectations. It was a bit slow.
I think you gotta cut them some slack because I think both teams were trying out each other. They were testing waters. Such is the nature of the Selangor Champions League. I think every game that teams play, they approach it with caution. Every single game, which is why you see a lot of teams they win the first 2 games, then they lose. As for Antlers, they came in with a very
that's why I emphasized first half because the second half totally changed.
So it's exactly why you could see the goal from Azeez as well, the number 10 of
the screamer.
AC United. Yeah. He scored an absolutely beautiful goal. But that you have to give credit to. You have to thank the keeper as well for being out of position. And after that he knew his mistakes. And I think it was more like both the sides were learning. Eventually one team kind of found out the.
To me, Antlers looked like their same old self in the first half. But in the second half they played more aggressively, especially after they substitute in number 8.
Yes, they played with more. How do you say this?
More intensity. More pace.
They
pressed their opponents really hard, and eventually United really.
And also, I think the number 10. To me, in the first half, he was a contender for the man of the match for my side. But as the game went on, I just got disappointed because there were clearly.
He held the ball too long. He didn't pass it.
It's fine for you to dribble the ball, but dribbling is more of a way to hold time until your team comes and supports.
Yeah, you don't do that in midfield.
Yeah. I mean, like
you do that outside of the penalty box when you're trying to retain your ball and make sure you don't lose possession.
Correct. There was a particular incident at the start of the second half. He had the ball in midfield. He was running forward. He had 2 wingers overlapping SA Antlers defense. They were free. I don't know why he kept on holding the ball, and by the time the ball was released, either one of the wingers were offside or the pass was not accurate enough. And in the end, it was wasted. And a lot of these chances, the number 10 really wasted. I think AC United was severely punished because Azeez was very selfish.
Yeah, and after that, the game just slowed down and it was played to Antlers' pace.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Because look, Antlers, background-wise, they are very good. Okay, they are a team pushing for something bigger. I'm not saying AC United is not pushing for something bigger, but they are in nature a social league club. And as a social league club, in true nature, fitness is not their forte. Okay, not many of us will train because we just play for fun. And going into the social league is just like an experience for us. So for you to not be able to capitalize when the time you have that 100% stamina or 50% stamina, you will be severely punished by a team who is physically and much more better,
who actually has a system in training.
Yes, much better in terms of their physicality. So once you lose that, you are definitely going to lose your mental is going to break because they were holding on to this 1 unit for a very long time. Yeah. And then the first goal came in, and the second goal
just came in like the second pass, and it was over for them. You could see it was game over.
Which is why I feel that they were punished because they didn't take the chances properly. So I think the only thing that I saw I think Nasri's the manager's comments on post-match, he did say that we lost because we don't have stamina. Again, reiterated my point.
Okay, now just to wrap things up, Selangor Champions League is a very competitive tournament. teams that you think are actually winning might lose the next moment. Right now, it feels like if I were to draw a circle, right, you could see teams beating each other and losing to each other. There is that sort of correlation. So it's a very tight competition. It's very interesting as well to watch.
How's he in the back?
Draw the circle.
So yeah, we really do encourage you to drop by Stadium Masushi.
Any matches, any match,
Anything.
game week,
Anything can happen.
Anything can happen. Seriously.
Like, anything can happen. We did not see the number 10's goal coming. Like really, go check out the highlights.
It was a great goal.
You will be amazed. You will be amazed.
You can follow them on Football Selangor, and then there's the Selangor Champions League page as well.
Or even follow them on Instagram. You can see their Snapchats, Instagram stories.
Instagram at Football Selangor, yeah.
They are always updating their matches. But
Yeah.
on that note, we end this week's podcast. We'll be going off for an international break next week.
Yes!
That was totally unnecessary.
We'll be taking a break next week, and when we come back the week after that, we'll be bringing you 2 consecutive match reports from the Selangor Champions League.
What?
Fixtures happening next week and the week after together lah. We'll try to do it.
Oh.
I think I want to put a moment of silence for Izam, who's been editing our videos.
And on that note, this is going to be Yuhan signing off.
This is Henry.
And this is CK.
Until next time, lots of balls.